All right, gang, we're going a cappella here, a bit freestyle. I want you to stop posting content and do this instead. This video needs to come with a little disclaimer, full transparency, a bit of a confession. Other people used to write my stuff. Every email we sent, articles on the blog, they were all sort of my voice, sort of my opinion, but kind of not really. And it's a trap that I think a ton of coaches fall into, especially now with AI making things so freaking easy. So today, I'm gonna riff and I'm gonna tell you why I think it's a huge mistake, even though it's so tempting, and why the best thing you can do for your business is to hang on to your voice and leverage team and tech to help you brainstorm and help you edit, but never to replace your voice. So let's start with a little bit of backstory so you've got some context about what happened. We hired a content team and they would take the transcripts of workshops I'd run inside Blackbelt, for clients, turn them into articles and emails for, obviously, for our email newsletter and for social posts. And it worked for a bit. The upside, the good bits about it was the content cupboard was never bare. Tamara, who was running marketing, never had to go, scratching around looking for Taki to get an email out today, because she had like months worth in the can, ready to go. That was good. It was easy for me. I didn't have to lift a finger. It's already said the words and it was fine. Efficiency of it was good, but the actual emails were terrible. Like the photocopy of a photocopy of photocopy of what I'd originally said, like the Coke Zero of email. So I set up this 6-week mission to save my audience from ever having to read a bad email from me ever again. Well, at least for 6 weeks. I didn't want to commit forever, because forever feels kind of heavy. We run things in experiments. And so we decided to do a 6-week experiment that ran like this. Every good experiment has 4 core components. It starts with a problem. I think we can kind of tick that box. Second, it has a hypothesis. The hypothesis was that the stuff that I write would work better than the stuff that the content machine spits out. So we've got a problem, a hypothesis. Now we need an experiment. The test was like this. We're going to run this thing for 6 weeks. And at the end of 6 weeks, I'm going to ask 3 questions. Number 1, did we send something every day that I actually wrote? Number 2, did it work better? Like, did we get more leads than the content team would do? And third, kind of a major big deal, did I actually have fun? Today, I want to tell you about what happened. I started to go off track, and a ton of coaches go off track because we don't even know what content actually freaking is. Content is the stuff that fills a space. If you've got a container, the content is what goes in it. And so we think that our job is to fill the space. And that's why there's so much bullcrap out there in email and social and video. Everyone's trying to create more stuff, to create more volume, and we don't need it. Content fills space, and now with AI, it's getting worse and worse and worse. I saw this dude post on Facebook. He's a nice guy. I'm sure he's doing his best, but I saw this post. I wrote an entire book this morning in a 30-minute drive home with nothing but AI and my phone. Comment book if you'd like to learn my method. I'm like, well, that's interesting. What happened? All of these people commented book, 76 comments at the time where I first saw it. I was like, okay, well, that's cool, but I've got a question. So I posted a comment. And I was like, hey, is the book amazing? Does it say stuff that you actually believe? And here's what he said. Great questions. I'll answer it when I get home. And then he never did. Why? Because it wasn't good. It was terrible. Of course it was terrible. He just dictated some stuff and let the machine run with it. Not okay. I love AI. I'm a convert. I used to freaking hate it. I love AI. I use it as a brainstorming partner and I use it as an editor, but I never let it write on my behalf. If you do, you end up with this awful, stupid situation that we've got right now where the world is just full of AI slop. Pretty soon, my robot's going to write something and post it, and then your robot's going to click like, and then my robot is going to try to sell by chat you, and your robot is going to try to sell by chat me, and the robots are just going to do this dance. It's stupid. So I was thinking about this and I wrote this. The world's got enough bullshit words in it already. We're drowning in thoughtless content, talking a lot, saying nothing. We don't need more of that. Not from me, not from you either. We don't need more content. We need more conviction. People follow people who've got an opinion. Tell me what you really believe. Show me what you're doing. Tell me where you're going and why. Don't pollute my feed with drivel that you didn't write and you don't believe. Give me the good stuff. Opinions you believe from experience you've earned. Share your convictions and we'll follow. From Taki, not a bot, more. So this is less a how-to and more of a call to arms. If content is what fills the space, can we be honest? The space is already full, man. Since when was the answer? How much content do you get every day? Too much. Since when was the answer to too much? More. Never, right? If content fills a space, that's not what we need. What do we want instead? Well, I want you to share a POV, a point of view. Instead of filling a space, let's expand minds. That's the actual job of you as a thought leader. I want you to share stuff that, number 1, you've got some energy about, and number 2, you've got an opinion about. If it's energizing for you, you'll be excited about it. And if you have an opinion, it's useful. That's what we need more of. So I shared this with our clients and it's become a game changer. What we want is a point of view. I want you to share your world and your worldview. Your world, your day-to-day life. the emails that I send, most of them are just like stuff that happened, either stuff that happened with a client or a place that I visited or a dude that I met or something that I noticed. They're just like things from my world. And all of the people and places in my world are characters, whether they like it or not. So they're my world, and then my worldview. The world just like triggers you with stuff that's interesting. And then your worldview is like, what's your opinion on this stuff? People follow people with an opinion. That's what the world needs from you. So let's just contrast these two big ideas. We've got content and we've got a point of view. Content is built on volume. Like how much output can we create? A point of view is based on value. Content is, here's some information, some data for you. We don't want information, we want insight. Like give me some clarity. We're drowning in information and like thirsty for insight. Content is sanitized, it's made and you consume it. But a point of view is soulful, it's crafted, and you experience a point of view. It shifts the way you think about stuff. That's my biggest hope from you, is that instead of like sharing content or having a content to somebody else write for you or a robot write for you, if we need to, we use robots and we use people to help brainstorm and to help edit. But the opinions and the energy comes from you because we feel it. Someone posted on Facebook, maybe Facebook or Instagram, maybe both, the other day. And they're like, hey, I've stopped writing content and now I've got 5 or 6 GPTs that have turned me into a content machine. I'm like, cool. I know how that story ends. Starts off exciting. It ends with the gradual enshittification of everything you put out and the audience just deciding this isn't good anymore and tuning you out. And you become irrelevant. If that's what you want, enjoy it. So when I started to take back control of the content, like I realized I'd scaled myself out of the content, and what I needed to do was scale myself back into it. When I started, here's how I was thinking about it. I want everything I do to be fun and useful. If you think about the fun factor, we've got 2 options. At one end, it's sterile, which is like boring business data. And at the top, we've got swagger, a little bit of soul. And then left to right, if it's not that useful, it's just information. If it is useful, there's some insight involved. That's what we want. This gives us 4 kinds of content. You know, you've heard spam, unwanted, business junk email. There's a word for AI created content as well. And the word is slop. That's what a lot of us are putting out, whether we mean to or we don't. When you put out slop, what happens? Well, the moment somebody twigs that it's AI, you just get put on the ignore this list. Literally, I was chatting with a friend the other day. He goes, I've got a few people that every now and again I check their email, and if it's AI, I'm just like, okay, cool. That's a good notice. I don't need to tune into this person, unsub, boing, and we're done. There's a lot of people who are like super fun, not that useful. And these guys are like the junk food. The junk food of the coaching world. It's okay, but what happens to that? People scroll. Maybe they click like, but you don't want to be scrolled. We want people to go like deep with us, to get excited, to go all the way. The opposite, it's super useful, but a little bit sterile. Well, then you're just like a textbook. And it's okay. It's useful. It's nice that you're trying. But what happens with textbooks? Well, you don't just get ignored or scroll past. People just get bored and they tune you out. What we want instead is this POV, this point of view, something that energizes you, that you've got an opinion about. And what happens to those guys? They get binged. I'm early into this process, maybe a year and a half now. We started with email and now it's into socials and videos like this. And dude, the difference is night and day. Firstly, I'm alive and excited about my content again. But secondly, so are a bunch of prospects. We're early, but it's working. What I want for you is that you set this dynamic up where your content is full of insight and it pops ideas for people and it's full of swagger and it's a full expression of who you are at your very, very best. That's how you get binged, because we know bingers are buyers. So you can probably tell I'm a little bit passionate about this thing. I think the challenge is that there's 2 different parts inside, certainly inside me, probably inside you too, that feel like they're competing. There's the needs of the business and there's the desire for expression, creative expression. And they often feel like they're at war. And what we need to do is get them together and have them make sweet, sweet love. Let me show you how it's done. So AI content's like sending voicemails in Messenger. Everybody wants to send them. Nobody likes to receive it. That's the problem. I get why it happens though. It happens because it's easy and there's a lot of demand to create more stuff. There's these 2 like competing interests that we need to like get them together and have them have a baby. On one side is the business. The business has got like needs. It's got like a production schedule. It needs you to output a certain amount at a certain time and it needs to be profitable, right? It's got a commercial production desire. But if you're anything like me, there's this other part of you, which is the artist. And the artist, at least the artist in me, longs for creative expression. You know, you don't want to be a starving artist. Like if you go all here, you're a starving artist. You know, expressing your heart's desires and nobody cares and gives you any money and you die. You know, let's not be that person. And if you all this, then you're just like this soulless manager, you know, cranking out widgets at some factory and there's no magic. So this is all money, no soul, and this is all soul, no money. We want this bit here. If you do this well, here's what happens. The thing that great artists have is when they do their job right, they can't be copied. And the thing that's amazing about like the manager, the production side, is when they do things well, they can't be matched in terms of their output. You know, those epic people on YouTube and Instagram who's like so freaking prolific, it's like 5 amazing videos a week. Yeah, they can't be matched in terms of output. But when we get this bit and this bit together, you know, this is like the, we get like manufactured magic. And I just love that because these guys, they get the best of both worlds and they can't be touched. Prolific and extraordinary. That's what I want for you. So listen, let me just be super honest. We use AI in our creation process, but we use it before I say a word and we use it after I say a word. We use it in the brainstorm and we use it in the edit, but we don't use it to create the stuff because the magic's got to come from somewhere. It's got to come from soul. So do you remember the 6-week experiment I told you about right at the start? Well, I did it for 6 weeks and I want to tell you what happened and then what we're doing next and how it might relate to you. All right, come back over here. So remember that 6-week experiment we talked about? Well, let me tell you what happened. At the end of 6 weeks, I wrote an email and I sent it to all the people in my world and I posted it on socials as well. And it read like this. So 6 weeks ago, I set up an experiment. The hypothesis was simple. The stuff that I wrote would work better than the stuff that the content machine was spitting out. So every day I've been writing to you, sometimes on email, sometimes on social. This Friday is the last day of the 6 weeks, last day of the experiment. And next week, I'm going to ask these 3 questions. Did we send something every day that I wrote? Did we get more leads as a result? And did I enjoy it? And then we'll decide what to do about it. I'd love to know from you. Have you noticed anything different about my emails and posts this year so far? Anything that might sway me one way or the other? And so I asked the question. So before I answered them myself, I just wanted to see if anyone else picked up a vibe because I was certainly feeling it. And here's what people started to say. The words you write are infused with energy you've got. Content repurposing and AI can never compete with da-da-da-da. This year's ones have been more personal, seem to be more you. For the first time in a long time, a colleague of mine forwarded me one of your emails with this comment. Read this, great email. So yeah, keep writing. This is a little bit magic from Andrew Cruzy. Content's a lot like a fart. If you force it or fake it, it's going to be shit. I think there's something in that for all of us, don't you? So here's what happened. I said something every day for 6 weeks that we'd written. It worked better than what the machine had been putting out. Not just a little bit better, but a lot better. And I really liked it. And so I took the same thing and I extended it for another 6 weeks and then another 6 weeks. And now it's been like a year and a half. And now we've taken it from just email to videos like this and stuff on, short form stuff on socials as well. So I told you that I'd taken back control of the writing, but I didn't tell you that Lenny Kravitz was a bit of the reason why. So let me tell you the story that Dean Jackson taught me because I love Dean and I love the story and I love Lenny Kravitz. So Lenny's sitting in a bar in New Orleans, having his morning coffee or whatever, and he hears some music coming from around the corner and it's his music. So he gets up to go explore. So around the corner, he finds a church band playing one of his songs badly. He goes up to them and they're doing okay, but it's got no soul. So the choir is like swaying side to side and clapping to the beat, but there's no soul, no swagger. And the singer singing all the right words, but there's no conviction. And the drummer's keeping the beat, but he's not driving it forwards. So he sees Lenny and offers him the sticks and gets up out of the drums and Lenny sits down. And the moment Lenny Kravitz sits down, the whole thing just comes to life. As soon as he picked up the sticks, 2 things happened. Number 1, the music instantly gets better. You can just tell. No surprise there, he's the boss, right? It's his music and he's a legend. But number 2, everyone in the band gets better. The choir all of a sudden gets swag. They clap and they sway, but there's punch to it. The guitarist rocks it out. Everybody has a good time. The band, the audience, everything comes to life. That's what happens when you show up. I was chatting with Dan Martell a little while ago and he says, 80% as good as you done by somebody else is 100% freaking awesome. And that's true. But there's a time to outsource and there's a time to pick up the sticks and just show them what you got. I want our emails and our videos to have that Lenny Kravitz swag. I'm not as cool as Lenny, but you know what I mean. I want to take you somewhere. And your audience wants that from you as well. There's a lot of things for you to outsource in your business, a lot of things to get help with. Please, for the love of all that's holy, don't outsource your voice. We're waiting for you to lead us. Thanks for watching.